Hey, how you guys doing out here? James Humphrey with Associates Productions Movie Reviews. I got my co-host with me, Ali. And then this week, we are doing the Blade Trilogy. Blade 1, Blade 2, and Blade Trinity. For whatever reason, they could just say Blade 3 or the third or whatever.
Back then when all those movies were still doing like X2, United, or X-Men, Last Stand.
The funny fucking names and shit. That
you
shit
could just say the sequel,
Yeah.
T2, Terminator 2. Like, okay, all right, cool. Like, we get it.
Oh, Blade 1, 1998, 1996? 97?
Oh, huh.
Yes, 95? It was one of those first Marvel, movies that I guess jump-started Marvel because Marvel was already in the tank in the 90s.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Wesley Snipes wanted to do a Black Panther movie instead of doing a Blade movie.
Really?
Yes. And they did like a test, and everybody was like, who the fuck is Black Panther? And then Wesley Snipes was like, bro, what the hell, man? There's not a lot of other black superhero movies that I could do. And it was like, well, they got this vampire dude that you could play. And they were like...
Vampire was huge when they got Buffy, you got Angel, I think
True,
Lily. Huh?
When did True Blood come out?
It was much later, I think.
Yeah, well, I think.
But like Buffy was huge during that time, so vampires it is. Why not?
And so we had Blade, just Blade, I guess. Mm-hmm. Which, dude, phenomenal fucking movie.
It's a good movie. Yes.
Good movie. And the best part about it, Blade 1, that you can watch it right now and it still be relevant. It'll still be fire. Mm-hmm. Even with the special effects and everything back then, awesome movie.
Wesley did all his martial arts stunts too. Like he did the
first one. Yeah.
Huh?
We'll talk about that.
Oh yeah. Like in the first one, like his stunts he did himself, like the choreography, like the movie was.
This is back when Wesley Snipes was legit, like Wesley Snipes and shit, right? Mm-hmm. Where his acting wasn't that bad, his ego wasn't that bad, his taxes wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
There are some discrepancies in the film because I rewatched it, and it's fucking trippy. Check this out. So at the beginning of the movie, awesome night fight, in the beginning of the movie, whatever. He gets put to the hospital. They do the hospital scene where Karen gets bit, whatever. She's on the ground. Blade is about to walk off, lead a bitch there, and somehow he remembers
his mom
when he's a fucking baby. This nigga is 2 minutes out the womb. 2 minutes out the womb. And somehow he remembers his mother in this scene. It's like, it makes no fucking sense whatsoever in the fucking movie, bro. He was walking away and he has that little 2-second flashback scene. It's like, oh shit. For whatever reason, this bitch reminds me of my mom that abandoned me 2 seconds or 2 minutes or 5 minutes after I was born, which makes no sense. Who the fuck raised Blade? But whatever, we'll come back to that in a minute. And picks her up, and I'm like, I guess when I saw it when I was 15 or 12 or whatever, it made complete sense then. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, nah, fuck that, nah. So he saves the bitch. Throws her out of her window, whatever. And the movie still spit fire. You got this one dude, Deacon Frost, that's trying to create his own little clan of daywalkers, whatever.
Okay.
Which to me kind of makes no sense if they could just put suntan on, and walk during the day type shit. You know what I mean? You got Blade who's just trying to kill as many vampires as possible, and
who's also having a good time doing it too. Yeah. Like as a superhero, the dude gets so much glee from killing people. I was watching scenes where he was cutting people and he's like smiling and like having fun. Like, you're enjoying this way too much. Like,
way too much.
Like you should be like, I gotta solve this problem. I gotta get it done. It's like watching Captain America them and Avengers like destroy the whole alien race. And they're just like, yeah. Another one, like Thor, yeah, like another one. Like, wait a minute, Black Widow smiling and cheesing, Hawkeye like
cracking jokes and shit
like,
in the middle.
Like, wait a minute, why are you so gleeful about this? We need to have a talk,
like chill. Now here's another.
He's part vampire.
Here's another discrepancy in the film that I thought was fucking crazy as shit, bro. Because he saves the girl, lets her go. They get into the situation with the cop, whatever. Mm-hmm. Blade marches this motherfucker out in the middle of the street. You can see in the background motherfuckers are walking everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And he's torturing the cop, pulling his gun out, like kiss this motherfucker, all this type shit in the middle of broad daylight. Nobody says nothing. Nobody does nothing. They like see this dude like, all right, I'm gonna keep on walking. I'm gonna keep on walking, minding my own business, you know, type shit. You know what I mean? And then Blade's cussing the girl out in the middle of all this other shit. It's like, okay, so we really didn't like really think about this scene. Like if it was done in the alley, something like that makes sense. But nah, it's in the middle.
90s, man.
Middle of Brooklyn, in the middle of the street, whatever. Do another scene where Blake, you know, kicks ass, whatever. And for the most part, the movie, like I said, it holds up until that part where the ending scene where somehow the girl finds a cure for vampirism or whatever, but she gets bit again because Blade bites her again, but then I guess she cured herself again after that kind of type shit. But for the most part, other than those couple of scenes there, the movie, like, again, holds up pretty good. Moving on to the second one. And
before we move on to the second one, like, Blade's another one of those movies where people like it, enjoy it, but nobody really talks about it in this day. Like, you almost forget that Blade exists as a prominent Marvel, like, he's one of the first Marvel superheroes before Spider-Man. I guess because Blade's rated R, so that's why he didn't get as much, like, as a kid, you as a parent, you probably won't let your kid watch Blade. Your 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid is not watching Blade. True. But your 8-year-old, 7-year-old kid is gonna watch Spider-Man 1. Yeah. But I think the fact about Blade didn't take off as much, but also, I hate to say, it's Wesley Snipes. Back then, the black media didn't get that much get that much interest, right or wrong, by time period. Blade was like one of the first Marvel superheroes. Legit. Before the X-Men came, legit was one of the first Marvel. It
was the movie that, like, it brought in like $150 million for Marvel to make these other movies. Like I said, Marvel was like in the brink of bankruptcy before they made Blade. Because nobody was buying comic books, nobody's reading that shit anymore, blah, 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 that. They made the movies, they started into the cinema. And what happened was Marvel, they made Blade, but then Marvel had to sell the rights to Fox and sell it to Sony to make some money, and then they started the cinematic universe after the fall of the Fantastic Four. Yeah,
that's a whole nother series.
Yeah, it's a whole nother series.
Yeah, so Blade 2.
Blade 2, it holds up, but it has more flaws than the first one.
I completely forgot. Like, I don't know if I've seen this movie. I don't know. I feel like I didn't see it.
This is the one with Nomak in it. So, here's
did I miss this one? I just remember it existed. And that's
the biggest flaw in this movie is obviously the plot. The plot is horrible because you have this
He's trying to make a race of like super.
You got this gangster ass vampire that's old as shit.
Yes.
But doesn't have like legit powers or anything. He's just old.
Okay.
And so they use like his skin cells or use his blood or something
to make super vampires. Now the super vampires were created to kill Blade. Okay.
But they fucked up. So now their plan was to get Blade to kill these fucking super vampires and then kill him. Which again, it doesn't make sense because if you're recruiting Blade, you could have just killed him then and then took care of the super vamps.
I hate that storyline so much.
You know what I mean? So already the storyline is kind of tweaking.
I can't stand that.
You know what I mean?
I hate when movies do that. I'm the villain. I'm going to hire you to do the job so I can kill you.
Kind of hold that friend of my friend is my enemy type shit. You know what I mean? So Nomak is out there biting the shit out of people. Which they are immune to garlic, they're immune to silver, but they're not immune to sunlight. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's kind of one of those situations where they try to make a hybrid of Blade, but then they fucked up in whatever, you know. Blade is working with the Blood Pack, which is the crew that was created and trained to kill him. So he's in charge of the crew that was obviously made to kill him. And what's even more fucked up is like half these crew with each like scene or I guess plot whatever half the crew gets killed. You know what I mean? Donnie Yen is in this movie.
I saw the clip of that.
But Donnie Yen is only in the movie for like fucking 5 minutes.
He gets killed off screen.
He gets killed very quickly in the movie. You know what I mean? But I guess this is before Donnie Yen was Donnie Yen. You know what I mean?
What movie really said was it IP Man?
No. The movie he came out in real well was I believe the name of the movie is called Bloodsport or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Which is put Donnie Yen in the map.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess this is before that or whatever. You know, I guess this is back in the 90s, where the Asians wasn't getting that much clout.
This is actually mid 2000s. This is early 2000s.
Yeah. Okay, well, still, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, all them were still coming out doing their thing.
Like the one Jet Li was doing some good stuff back then. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So they. This fucking movie, man. So they were in the sewers. They all populated, had to fight during daylight because, obviously vampires could go into the day, whatever. So they're all during the daytime in the sewers fighting these fucking monster things. There's only 8 of them. I think there's like 8 or 9, somewhere around there. And there's like hundreds, dozens of these fucking things that they're fighting. Like, I don't see how they overpower them and they all did kill Blade and all this other stuff. Like, it's fucking crazy as shit. So, Norman Reedus' character, Scud, whatever the fuck his name is, creates this bomb to somehow they ignite the bomb and it kills everybody but Blade, the girl, Nomak, the one person that they were supposed to be killing, Whistler, and the Ron Perlman's character. It's fucking crazy because, like I said, they're in the sewer in between these tunnels, but the bomb sunlight blasts off of this one location and spreads out between the city or some shit.
Okay.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous how he kills all of them but the main people, whatever. Obviously, in every single Blade movie, for whatever reason, they need to extract his blood because they did it in the first one.
They do it again in this one.
Makes sense, whatever, to create the whole little spiritual whatever vampire, whatever, and then they do it again to I guess test his blood to do the Nomak thing again, whatever, because they're making little fetuses. That was disgusting or whatever. Anyway, Blade gets his blood extracted to where he's near dead again, and then he falls in the vat of blood
and becomes Super Blade again.
It becomes Super Blade.
Because the first one he drank the girl's blood to get like that power, and this one he's like soaked in it. So that means he's like Super Blade.
Yeah,
like,
he's Super Blade. Comes out, kills like a bunch of people, does some WWE shit.
I don't get that. I'm tired of seeing freaking suplexes in movies.
Oh man, he picks this dude up and then like
I don't want to like. Is it supposed to be that? I guess he dropping somebody on their head, so like it makes sense why it would be that devastating. But like the work for you to grab somebody and just
and like, here's the other thing. I don't know if he was like killing humans or other vampires because they wasn't like evaporating like they were supposed to.
Right.
Like in the first one or in the first scene of the movie. They started out really good. Like Blade 2 started out really, really good when he was looking for Whistler.
Yeah.
And he was killing all those guys.
Are you talking about the CGI yet in this movie?
Yeah.
The CGI in this movie is not good.
It's okay. With the blood stuff, because like, dude bit the one guy and blood like splattered like all up and down the wall and shit. Like, nah, that's not how that works. But whatever, you know what I mean. It's okay. When Blade was shooting people and it was blowing people up, not bad. The blood shit, no, hell no. Yeah, it was really really bad with the blood shit. And he kills Ron Perlman's character. And then you have the climactic scene with Nomak and Blade at the end of the movie, which clearly shows that Nomak is stronger and better than Blade. But he was beating the shit out of Blade. And then they do the hero's getting his ass whooped. He does this one move, saves the day, girl dies, whatever. End of the movie. Going on to Blade 3.
You want to talk about the after-scene stuff with it, behind-the-scenes stuff with this one, or
it's really bad because it's almost like the movie sucked because of Wesley Snipes.
It wasn't just Wesley though. Apparently, he hated the script of the movie.
He hated the script.
So he was like, "I'm not playing ball."
He hated the script. He hated Ryan Reynolds. He hated working with all the. He purposely made a scene in the movie where he's like scolding the kids, like, you guys are fucking joke. You think you ready to roll with this? Like, he wrote that himself in the movie just to like scold the director and all the other shit, right? He spent most of his time in his trailer, so all the stunts and all the other stuff is not Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4 different stunt doubles. Wesley Snipes is only in the movie during close-up scenes.
Yeah, like you don't see his face. It's not him.
It's not him. Even in some of the close-up scenes where he jumps down and is like really, really dark and shit, not him. All the car scenes, not him. You know what I mean? So it's really bad, you know. And then he wasn't communicating with people. The only way he was communicating with people was during notes. Like, he was writing notes to the director and whatever. And he only wanted to be called Blade.
Yes. Yes.
He barely read the script himself. So he not only did he ad-lib most of the scenes, but there are some scenes where he's just not talking at all. So it's like, here are the list of Ryan Reynolds lines, the list of Jessica Biel's lines, and here's the list of Wesley Snipes lines. That's all he said. Like, he said less shit in between the movie, and then ad-lib most of it. Like, you ready to roll? It's like, or at the end of the movie, Dracula asks, like, are you ready to die? He's like, I was born already, motherfucker. Like, shit like that.
That was the first movie he said, motherfuckers always trying to ice skip with heels, which I was like, oh, okay, that's fun. But yeah, no, I was born.
Yeah. So already this movie was looking to fail, you know.
And then the script, and add to that, the script was so bad. It's like watching another review of it, and somebody put after credit scene or after behind the scenes stuff where the actors were trying to say the lines of the movie, and they couldn't say it because how bad it was. One lady, she was like, oh, you know, then he ran away. He was like, oh, I was a good Catholic girl once. And he's like, oh yeah, then we crucified him. And she started laughing. And then she's like, I'm a good Catholic girl once. And they were like, we crucified him. She said, yes, I was at Woodstock. What?
The casting is actually really horrible. So they got Jessica Biel, who's
what did she do before this movie?
Seventh Heaven.
Okay,
she's the Seventh Heaven chick.
Okay.
But then she did some movies.
Comedy though, like
yeah, not a lot of.
She was Good Luck Chuck, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was not Good Luck Chuck. It was Chuck and Larry Gets Married.
Chuck and Larry Gets Married. Okay.
Yeah, she was in that one. Yeah, not a lot of action movies, and it's obvious if the girl is like putting on headphones in the middle of a fight and trying to shoot arrows and shit. It's just not that good. This is back when Ryan Reynolds' career was all about jokes and shit.
Yeah, he wasn't Ryan Reynolds yet. He wasn't Deadpool yet, which is
odd because he based his character off of Deadpool before he even played Deadpool, and even in X-Men. And but yeah, he just did a bunch of romantic comedies and shit, and so you got that. And then you have
Triple H.
Triple H.
This movie made him not want to do acting. Triple H did this movie. He said, "Yeah, that's for The Rock. That's not for me."
This is back then where wrestling was like really, really big, and then you had more wrestlers doing wrestling movies.
Yeah.
But this is most definitely not it for. I think this is actually one of the few Triple H movies that he's done.
To give you backstory on this, so Triple H, there's a DVD called a documentary on Triple H called Thy Kingdom Come, where Triple H talk about his wrestling career. He's the king of kings, Triple H. He talks about Vince McMahon came to him in 2001, said, "Do you want him and The Rock, who Vince McMahon chose, to do the Scorpion King?" Or to not Scorpion King, to be in The Mummy 2, because that's when the Scorpion King gets introduced. Yeah. So it was between The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, or Paul Levesque, Triple H. That's who it was between those two. And Paul Levesque, Triple H, like, I want to just work on wrestling. I don't want to do entertainment. I don't want to do the movie industry. I just want to work on wrestling and my craft with wrestling. So The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, took that role, and then we see where Dwayne Johnson's at today. And Triple H not doing bad for himself, actually.
He's actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's the head CEO of WWE and head of creative. Like, he is doing really, really good for himself. Like, so this is not a bad thing, Triple H. But the opportunity came again for Blade Trinity, and he said, okay, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Like, the first time I said no, the second time, he probably saw what The Rock was doing. He was like, we did wrestling together. I can act just as good as The Rock. Trips. You ain't Dwayne. I'm sorry.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
And he's stiff. It just, because wrestling, you can be stiff. In wrestling, you can, and there's actually a podcast I listened to recently with John Cena, who talks about the difference between WWE and movie industry. He said WWE, you can go out there and you can cut a promo. Nobody's gonna stop you. Nobody's gonna stop you from recording it. They can't cut you off. You're alive. And then once it's done, you go all back. When a movie, he's like, I could be in the back trying to throw middle fingers up. I can't do it because they will cut it and have you completely take it out the scene. So I could be in the scene doing this middle finger and completely not be existent in the scene, or you see my feet, or you just see my head. Because movies, they can do that kind of stuff. And he's like, you have to learn how to be more fluid in that setting where you can't be as, loose and be all over the place you want in WWE. WWE, you feel like, my counterpart is not moving with me. I can move a little more and make this little different kind of match. Triple H fighting Ryan Reynolds. He just stayed there looking at him.
Well, again, if you look at the fight scenes in the movie, Wesley Snipes is barely in the fucking movie. At the beginning, he shoots a bunch of people, runs off. Middle of the movie, shoots a bunch of people, run off. And then at the end of the movie, shoots a bunch of people, does a bunch of double takes with the with Dracula and all this other shit. Oh my god, special effects on Dracula.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Oh damn, horrible. It's almost like they went from Blade 1, Blade 2, and then Blade Trinity with the special effects. They went very, very well down on the special effects.
They did.
And then Dracula's character altogether is, he's this old, or they call him Drake, some shit like that. This old ass, pyramid motherfucker that can walk in the sunlight and all this other shit. And you really don't get any real purpose with Dracula.
I just want to rule the world.
It's like, what are you doing? Are you biting some people? You biting a few people? You know what I mean? Kind of shit. It's like the whole, I guess, what is the plot of the movie? You know what I mean? It's like nothing's going on. Because then, Drake kills everybody at the house, but spares the little girl, capture her for whatever fuck reason. And then they storm, Drake's place, whatever. And I feel like if Dracula is this fucking powerful, you know what I mean? He's like 1,000 whatever years old. How is he not fucking everybody up? It's like same thing with in Blade 2. This old Godfather-looking fucking vampire is that badass. Then how is he not killing Blade or whatever?
Right. These movies, and did you put they're all Marvel Universe characters.
Yeah.
So Blade comes around, like, the vampire just exists on their own world. Like, how does it work in actual Marvel? Like, I'm curious. Like,
I guess they're, like I said, they're underground. They're not like out there, being out there and shit, which makes no sense because all of this shit's happening in New York. Like, here's in this block you got vampires, in the next block you got Daredevil, in the next block you got
Spider-Man. Like,
Spider-Man,
you don't go to you don't go to different suburbs.
And then
or
down the
boroughs.
street is Avengers Tower. Like, how do you not know about this shit?
Yeah, like, you think vampires wouldn't be like, well, we can't go to Brooklyn. We have to stay in this area.
You know
like,
what I mean?
We can't. That's Spider-Man. We don't go over there. Like,
It's very true.
You think that, and I know in the comic books they do come across like Morbius is he's not the same kind of vampire as the vampires he is.
No. Well, he didn't get bit by a vampire.
Yeah.
He got bit by a vampire bat.
That made him a vampire because Blade does, it's an animated series. Blade does actually come through and try to kill Morbius in the animated series. But I'm just thinking, like, you think there'd be more of that? Like, you think you'll see more vampires in Marvel's movies or just Marvel's universe? Because, like, these dudes been around for 1,000 years. You'd think they'd be like, oh, we probably shouldn't go over there because the X-Men are over there. Mutants are still existing in this universe. So do you get a vampire mutant? I know I'm getting sidetracked right now, but
you're making sense, man.
He's like, Dracula's been around forever, and Dracula is actually a big villain in Blade's comic book lore. Like, he's an actual, like, a big villain that Blade fights a lot. Why does he ever go after the Avengers? Like, if you want to transform some people,
well, it's not even that. It's like, this is obviously like a coronavirus type plague. Like, if you bite one vampire, then that vampire bites. It could spread obviously very, very quickly.
Yes.
And Blade is only one motherfucker. So you could go into a nightclub and kill a bunch of people here, but I guess there are rules. There are like vampire rules though. You know, so you remember in the first one they had the whole council.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Deacon Frost was the one that's trying to say, hey, we should be living up with the kings, and we down in the gutter. And the guy's like, hey, we in the gutter for a reason, because if we go out in the light, you know, we don't want to shine too much on us. You know, so I guess there are like some sort of vampire rules, whatever, you know, going on.
Protect your race. You don't want to be out in the light because that will,
you know,
cause.
But you still make a lot of sense, because you got in every Blade movie, there's a fucking antagonist that's trying to do that exact shit.
Same thing, yeah.
It makes sense in the first one because he just turned into La Magra, whatever, and Blade killed him right then and there. But then in the second one, you know,
the old dude.
Domak was the one that was biting and killing, saying we should be living in the light type shit. But he, like I said, he already created like a couple dozen arms. There was that whole sewer was flooded with these ugly looking, monster looking motherfuckers. There's no way in hell that little bomb blew them all up. You know, it's not possible.
Right. I just wonder you don't get vampire mutants or anything like that. Like I know there's a whole zombie thing where they're like a zombie, well, that's a different universe. It's the zombie universe in Marvel. So
yeah, we gonna be here all day. Where we at? So Blade 1, oh my god, very good movie. You know, other than, you know, the whole Mama Daddy thing, whatever. 1 second, give me 1 second. So, how the fuck does Blade even know who his mother is? Because you remember, you know, whatever he got captured, whatever, bitch came out of the bed. It's like, hey, what's up, man? You're my son, and whatever. And Eric's like, Mom? Like, how does he remember this shit?
Maybe vampire memory give him something else?
No, fuck that. Fuck that. He's got to remember his mom. Well, I guess she did get turned, whatever then. But then you're not going to know who the fuck your son is.
Maybe
get the fuck out of here.
Maybe like the writers, I don't know. I can't speak to it.
That's bad writing. That's bad writing. Anyway, Blade 1 still very good. Blade 2 was decent. You know, like I said, Wesley Snipes' head wasn't so big. You know, and then the third one,
did you see there's two different versions of it. There's a scene where Blade, they put CGI eyes on him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't wake up at the table.
He did not give a shit about opening his eyes at the end of the movie. Like, he was supposed to show that he was still alive. I guess he just wanted to do his own thing.
I had never heard of another movie where the main character was like, F this.
Yeah.
I can't think of another movie. Like, I know
there's another movie. I can say it, but we'll talk about that off screen.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another movie. Anyway, still a good series, you know, other than that third one. Go ahead and cut it off there. Ali, James, Socials Productions, movie reviews. We'll catch you guys next week. Street Fighter.
I was thinking that.
Jean-Claude Van
that thing in my mind. I was like,
Street Fighter
was.
The director literally explained that for majority of the movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme was coked out in his trailer. Couldn't remember his line.